Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Mercedes-Benz stage. My name is Mark Muurainen. I work for the change management company Trainers House. Today and tomorrow, it is my job to make sure that the learning and the fun continues even during the breaks. To do that, I will be talking to some interesting people during all the breaks here. And the main topic for all the discussions will be internationalization. So welcome to all of you here at the venue in Messukeskus, as well as all of those of you who are joining us via live stream. Welcome. My first guest is Olli Muurainen, founder and chairman of the board of Management Events. For those of you here close to our stage, please help me in welcoming Olli. Welcome, Olli.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Olli Muurainen. So, Olli, your company was founded in 1994, I believe.
Yes, that's true.
Was it called Management Events at that time?
No, originally it was called Kontaktimessut, which we can translate that contact trade shows. So it was a beginning exhibition and trade show organizing company, and in a very small scale on the first phase.
So then maybe, well, without making any presumptions, did you at that time in 1994 or closely after that, did you have any kind of vision for an international business at that time?
Well, I think when I founded the company, my idea was try to grow the company and provide excellent products for my customers and to grow. That was very well inside me all the time, and my big vision to make a bigger company. And one day, then after few changing the business model, big changes how we did business, which ended up later on management events, then one day it became evident that if we want to grow more, we need to go abroad. Okay.
So in a sense, is it correct to say that the main reason for going abroad was to grow? Going abroad was not, in a way, it was not a thing in itself so much as the need to grow.
Yeah, I think the point going abroad must be something that it comes from the growth and making a better business and making more business. And I think that's one of the lessons learned, that when I hear somebody wanting to make an international business and they say that it would be nice to travel and maybe be away from the office and a home and something like that, that's a very, very, very bad motivation for. It must be only to grow your business and make it a bit bigger. And if we go back to the times that we have developed a great product, it was industry forum. And when we done that in Finland to all the industries, basically, we found out that now we have a great product, but we are running out of the industries in Finland. Okay. So that was very logical to thinking about how, if it would go other countries like Sweden and Denmark.
When was the name Management Events then coined? When did that happen?
I think, if I'm correct, it was 2004.
2004. Actually, what I'm really interested in is you state that your mission is to bring together the visionary leaders of the world.
Exactly.
That sort of in itself requires an international aspect, unless, of course, you think that all the visionary leaders in the world happen to live in Finland.
Yes.
So when was this mission put to paper or construed?
Very good question. Actually, we just revised our mission and values just a few years ago, and it was more of the reflection what we have done and where we want to be next. So it wasn't the original mission, no vision, no strategy. It all went into the certain stages that being operation now in 2 continents and 15 offices, you look at it from the different perspective, of course, where you want to go next.
So where do you want to go next?
Well, our aim is to revolutionize the face-to-face media, and today, when we see all what's happening in the digital business and digitalization, there is so many opportunities for the companies that have creative ideas and wanna innovate something. So we want to be the one who really defines one day what the face-to-face media is about in the world.
Okay, well, that sounds good and big. There was a seminar speech or talk given by Peter Diamandis, and he Some of you may have caught him. It was at the same time exciting and to me a bit scary. It was basically, I'm not very good at this, but it was basically about emerging technologies and how they are changing and shaping our world. And while listening to that, I thought of you and your mission. Do you see personally, or for your company, that all this technological development, how do you feel at this time that it will impact the need or the way that people actually interact face to face?
Well, it already had a huge impact how we consume media, like thinking Facebooks and everything, how much time we spent there. Actually, if we go back like 15 years ago in a time, then when the internet was still new, there was a lot of talk that the face-to-face exhibitions and trade shows would be disappear because people would do it online. Well, what happened actually that it was traditional media more that had the challenges, like especially print, but to a certain extent also the TV. And what's been actually quite amazing is that face-to-face is actually very good media, and their numbers going up. Like, look at how huge event this face-to-face media is. And we don't think or believe at all that digitalization would replace, but it could work very well together. That part of what you do in communicating, either learning or finding new businesses, you can do actually online part of that, but still the face-to-face is very powerful medium, and that's probably not going to disappear.
You are in 11 different countries now.
Something like
that.
12.
Okay, 12. My bad. Have you bumped into significant differences in the way that people like to interact in a face-to-face kind of setting across different cultures?
Sure. There is clearly differences in the different countries, and maybe one of the blessings that we had in the early days of our business was that we came from Finland and had a networking business, because if you can make the Finns to network and talk and make business, I think that must be a winning product in abroad as well. And I think if we go, for example, Turkey, they are much more, where we have a big office and a good operation, they are much more naturally. They feel the events and the networking much more prestige by default than maybe in the other countries.
Without falling into unnecessary stereotypes, do you find, if we look at what you could call a typical Finnish cultural traits, do you see those, if we put aside your business for a second, do you see that there are some advantages in your own internationalization efforts of having a typical Finnish culture or mindset? Disadvantage, advantage? No
well,
difference.
You have to be aware of it and take what the best side of the Finnish culture is. That we are usually very straight, very low context. How we tell, we can make keeping the promises as a good export product as well. Of course, there is something in the Finnish business culture that it's not like a perfect match being like an international company and expanding, especially the further you go from the Europe. But on average, I don't think we, for example, the management events business culture would be like Finnish business culture. No. I think it's very much of a management events business culture that we have in most of the offices, very strong, and it's, I guess, something combination of a Nordic and an American business culture actually that is in our company.
And of course it's been seen before that national, you can probably never lose, and I don't know why you should lose your national traits of your national culture, but a business culture certainly can be more dominant than anything that you bring along as a result of where you come from. Now, speaking of coming from places and going places, I understand you live in Singapore now.
Yeah, that's true. That's my home.
Why?
Well, I love the dynamics there. It's where we decided already a few years ago to expand, and I really wanted to learn much more how the Southeast Asia, where just read yesterday Financial Times said that the growth almost everywhere in the world is low, but actually Southeast Asia is the #1 area growth. And there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of good initiatives. I really enjoy the bus in that very, very beautiful and very well functioning country and city. So love the place.
Why not? Listen, I was going to actually ask a question in the beginning that I forgot, but let's get back to it. This does not necessarily have the internationalization as the main theme, but I cannot, I would be remiss not to ask you, what did you like about Scott Galloway, or how did you find Scott Galloway's presentation?
Well, there was a lot of energy in that presentation.
That was an avalanche.
Yeah, it was like, a lot of weight. I actually like when people put it really like sometimes controversial and like they say very strongly something. And there was like a few great points that I could pick up for myself. So already that was a super presentation today.
I don't know if this is fair because it was just a few minutes ago, but can you identify one of these points that you think you will take with you and work further on?
Well, I think he made a good point there, saying how the ones that try to be too much rational and like how they are using too much advertising and like that. And then again, you should go actually, this is an era that actually we go back to the great products. Either if it's a Apple iPhone or it could be a service product, we need to get back actually producing great products and bringing good value for our customers, and then hopefully that you wouldn't need to that much like advertise. Of course, you need to always sell and whatever the format is, and I love selling, so it's no problem. But that was one of that he could present very well, and I got a lot of out from that.
Okay, you love to sell, unfinished, at least in the stereotype. Maybe not so true anymore. So if you would give a little sales pitch for everybody on live stream and everybody here, what exactly is your product? I think it's a bit too easy to say that we have events. What is your product?
Well, we bring the decision makers together, and it's the most effective working day that you can have to meet those high-level decision makers. So we really deliver you the business leads of your interest or topic.
Now, on this journey of going international, you're some 12 countries now, looking back to where you are now, what are you most proud of in terms of your international?
Well, that's easy. The people and the teams that we have in all those 12 countries. It's amazing because we tend to recruit more from like people coming first of school or their second jobs, and then seeing them grow. We invest a lot to our people's leadership skills and seeing the first steps they're taking as a small team managers, and then ending up maybe one day a CEO like our
like
CEO there.
Here.
They're in the front of the road, Jenny. Yeah.
Okay, the obvious corollary question, which would be impolite, is what are you most ashamed of? So I'm not going to ask that.
Very good. Smart of you.
But is there, and I don't know if there's any value in feeling ashamed about anything. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But is there something that you would take back now? Some learning, some mistake that perhaps could give some insight to people who are listening? Something you would do differently?
Well, I think growing your company or developing the new products, you must be able to realize that it's not going to work first time. That you anyway have to like take a few steps back, but you never ever you shouldn't like give up. You have to always go forward and like find new ideas and go ahead again and again. And I think it's even more important these days that everything is changing, because you cannot have like a sure recipe to anything, any success. That you keep your vision and you work with your vision and strategy and try to utilize the best possible resources inside your company, but also use outsiders. Because especially if you open up a new operation in some country, the time if you don't get the results will kill you. It's better to spend faster to find headhunters or any help that you can do to get your business going.
All right, so one final question. Going international in your case and in case of management events was mostly about growth, of finding new business. Has there been some other nice side effects?
Well, exposed to the different cultures and people, it's a great opportunity. I was just able to pay play 2 days ago a chess game with the Garry Kasparov, so I think that was
That's
one of
good.
the advantages.
All right.
Traveling to different countries and meeting new people.
Okay, thank you, Olli. That's all we have time for now. Thank you so much for opening up the game here at the Mercedes-Benz stage.
Yeah,
Please give
favorite
Olli Muurainen a warm hand and moving on to our next guest. Thank you, Olli.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.